Hey guys, Zom Fox here, and today we're going to be doing the 2022 USFL season Week 9 betting picks. This week has a couple games where teams will be playing for spoiler, and a game where it pretty much determines which team makes the playoffs. Overall, this week has one important game, and then the other ones are mainly just for seeding, which doesn't really matter that much. So the betting picks are going to be a lot weirder this week because it's just a lot harder to actually determine exactly how hard these teams are going to try, if they're going to bench anybody. But without ado, let's get started. The first game of the week is going to be the Generals at the Panthers. This one kind of shocked me. The Generals are 7.5 point favorites. They're minus 345, and over-under is 46.5. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go with the over. Paxton Lynch seemed to have be a legit quarterback feel for the Panthers, even though he wasn't, all that good. He was just by far the best they've had so far. And the Generals, I think the Generals are just going to score enough points. I mean, this seems kind of like a risky pick because the Panthers sometimes just lay eggs and the Generals sometimes just don't have to score to win. But I feel like the Panthers are going to try and get at least one more win to, see if they can, get a quarterback that might be good for next year. So, I mean, that's just how I feel about that one. As for who wins, I don't know if the Generals are going to lose. The Generals are 7-0 in the last 7 games, and it's hard for me to say the Panthers are able to beat them. I don't think this is the game the Panthers will win. So I'm going to go with the Generals, but I do think the Panthers cover the spread. I think 7.5 is just a bit too much, especially since the Maulers are by far the worst team, and they kept it within 12 points. So I'll have the Generals win, but I think the Panthers cover the spread, and I think it's going to be over. The second game of the week is the Gamblers at the Stallions. I mean, man, this isn't a shock. First of all, I want to say I like how FoxSports.com, whoever made this, did not put the 7th loss of the Gamblers. I think it's pretty funny. I know this is the second time I've seen an issue, but it might be fixed later, but whatever. So the point is, Stallions are 12.5 point favorites. They're minus 667. I think this is the second time they've been 12 point favorites. First of all, automatically saying the Gamblers cover. The Stallions they have a tendency to sometimes, especially recently, to not play as well as they were. They'll still win, but it's not like they're winning by, dominating teams. As for the over-under, man, the Stallions played such a horrid game last week against the Breakers, and so did the Gamblers. And so I know that you want to think, oh, well, clearly they'll just, come back. I don't know. I'm going to go with the under. I have the Gamblers covering the spread, and I do have the Stallions winning and remaining undefeated. Coming in as the third game is the Bandits at the Breakers, the most important game of probably the regular season of the 2022 season, by far. Pretty much, it's whoever wins in. It's not for sure. If the Breakers win, they're in. If the Bandits win, then the Breakers have to lose the next week, or Bandits win next week. So, really, this is pretty much for the playoffs. So, the Breakers are 3.5 point favorites. They're minus 175, and the over is 43.5. I'm going to go with the over first of all. I think this is going to be over 43.5 points. But as for who wins this, it's hard. It really is. This is such a hard game to pick because the Breakers honestly, it's just that both teams have a quarterback I don't trust. Tamu because of recently, and Slaughter because pretty much always. I never believed in him that much. I started to believe in him. Then he had that horrid game against the Stallions. And Tamu, he was supposed to be all that heading into the season, but he so far hasn't been all that. But it's just, I honestly, I'm going to go with the Bandits to win this game. I think they win and cover the spread. I think the Breakers are going to somehow end up losing this one. And by the way, again, they don't have the Bandits' correct record. So, props to Fox Sports once again. But yeah, I think the Bandits I feel like they'll win this because it's just, both teams ended up playing pretty much a horrid game. It's just the Bandits played a little bit better. And I think, especially since they were able to stymie the Gamblers with their defense better than the Breakers did, if you know what I mean, because one team played, you get what I'm saying. The last game is the Stars at the Maulers. This one, the Stars are 8.5 point favorites. They're minus 400. Over-under is 47.5. The Stars just put up 46 points against the Panthers. Now, do I think Case Cookus is going to be the, God himself again? No. but I will say this will be over. I think the Maulers will score like maybe 12 points, and the Stars will still put up like 30 something. So I'll go with the over. I don't expect Case Cookus to, be the best player in the history of football again, but I think that they'll win comfortably. I think the Stars do cover the spread, I think the Stars win by more than, I think they win by 9 or more points. I genuinely do. The Maulers team is just so bad, so that's how I feel. Okay, so I have hit a really bad roadblock last week. Last week, I was once again solid in the money line. I went 3-1, but the spread, I went 1-3, and the over/under, I went 0-4. I'm honestly, that's what I'm shocked at. I went 0-4 in the over/under. I mean, it's so whack, but whatever. So hopefully this week I can actually close in the gap a bit, because now I am negative. But I mean, hey, at least I'm not making too many bad choices on the straight up bet on who I think is going to win. Overall, this has been Zon Fox. If you enjoyed this content, I'll be notified as soon as I upload any video. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, have a great night.